Yo, good morning. Out taking an early morning Sunday walk here in the beautiful city of Houston, Texas. Down here for the Shine Time Expo. And out just doing some morning meditation, getting my heart and my soul right. Listening to some spiritual messages and the scriptures as I walk, and I got thinking about me as a dad, raising my kids, and reflecting on who they've become, who they are, and it's a lot of fun to get to this space in life where you can look at your kids and see the men and women that they've become, to see them going after their dreams, working hard to become and pursue those things that are in their hearts, that align with their natural gifts, the natural abilities, and them having the courage to go after it. And I was reflecting on, especially as I was listening to some spiritual thoughts and the scriptures, I was reflecting on some things that I would have done differently as a dad, especially when my kids were young. I think a lot of times, especially men and women of faith, when they're raising their kids, they tend to focus on the things that we do and we don't do in alignment with our relationship with God and our alignment and relationship with men and women. And sometimes I think we focus too much on the things that we're to do and not to do, instead of explaining why we do or we don't do those. And it's really simple. You think about, we teach our kids not to steal. Why? But how often do we tell them why? It's like, how would you feel if somebody took something that you had worked hard for? Would you appreciate that? Would that make you feel angry and disappointed? So thinking about helping them see the perspective of both sides. So yes, you want that thing, but if you take something that doesn't belong to you and somebody else has worked hard for it, how would that make them feel? And aligning that, it's like, if you want something, what do you got to do to work for it? What do you got to sacrifice to get it? What do you got to sacrifice to become? What do you got to develop within yourself to acquire those goals that you're seeing out there that you would like to have? And you think about teaching your kids to be to have integrity in their relationships, and we talk about, oh man, don't commit adultery, don't cheat on your spouse. But why is that important? Now, what happens when we as husbands don't live up to the covenants that we've made, to the promises that we made to our young fiance and future spouse and now spouse? What happens when we choose to step away from those relationships? What is the fallout that goes on? And I think if we would focus more on talking about the why of what we do, that would help our kids develop the internal fortitude and the decisions and the mindset of going, you know what, there's a bigger purpose in the things that I'm doing than just doing them to be good or bad or evil or righteous. And when we start talking about becoming, man, what a difference that makes in our mindset. Because as I'm getting older, I'm really realizing that it's not so much about what you do and don't do. It's about who are you becoming. I was having my daughter ask me one time, she goes, "Dad, do you think pornography is cheating?" I'm like, "Oh, that's a great question. I love that question." And I said, let's think about it. When you're in the moment, pursuing and looking at and involving yourself in pornography, what are you doing? You're imagining, you're fantasizing about being with that person. You're not imagining and fantasizing about being with your wife or with your husband. And if we would start talking about pornography in that way, do you think that it might invite our kids and ourselves to look at what things we're putting in our mind and our heart, and focusing on things that would develop strong and powerful relationships? So you guys that are younger dads and maybe even older dads, because we're all evolving and we're growing, we're becoming, and maybe we need to stop focusing on a checklist of things to do and not do, and focus on what kind of man are we becoming? What kind of husband are we? Do our kids look forward to marriage because they see the kind of marriage that we have? Do they yearn to have a relationship that they see in you and your spouse? Are they hoping to have that kind of relationship? Are they working to have that kind of relationship? Or are they sitting back and they're in their relationships and they're going, yeah, I'm not so sure I want to commit to be married because, man, my experience in it is it just leads to tragedy and tears and sorrow. And I think if we would focus more on the becoming, we might instill greater hope in people, because I think a lot of times when we're focused on the yes, no, do this, don't do that, people develop some shame. They develop a sense of not having worth, of not being worthy, because they're not doing all of the checklists. And when we all of a sudden start shifting to who are you becoming? What kind of man are you? What kind of husband are you? What kind of father are you? And we instill that kind of incentive and desire in our kids to tell them and inspire them to go become a good man, to become a good father. All of a sudden, I think the narrative changes and we have the kind of impact that touches the hearts for generations. You guys have a great day.